Gentlemen, as we get the coffee, I'm going to start the sponsors, and that way we'll get to here a little quicker, all right? Okay. Sponsorships, A Year of Learning, Friends of Herb Jeremiah, Tzvi Ben Zev, Friends of Sam Coleman, Shmuel Ben Yaakov, Friends of Gideon Lazinski, Mordechai Shlomo Ben Meir, Bella and David Adler in memory of her father, Eliyahu Ben Yosef Kohen. Those who were inspired by our Rebbetzin Emerita, Sheila Shapiro, Sarah Esther Malka Bat Meshulam Yisachar, Gail and Leslie Kaplan in memory of their parents, Mushka Sprinza Bat Yosef Chaim V'chava, Hanan Ben Moshe Eliezer V'chana, Pesha Bat Shmuel Yitzchak Levi V'tzipora, Isur Ben Yoel Moshe Cohen V'chana, Rexford Friends of Gladys Sherman, Gutta Bat Meir, Michael Klein and Friends of Judah Klein, Yehuda Tzvi Ben Nechal, Marsha Bronner in memory of her husband, Harav Yerachmiel Ben Shmuel, Friends and family of Arthur Ritholtz, Mordechai Yudel Ben Baruch Bleib HaKohen, Friends and family of Sigi Bessler, Shalom Shraga Ben Dov, Friends of Marvin Weinstein, Mordechai Ozer Ben Yisrael Aaron, Sarah Alpert in memory of her husband, Harav Tzvi Lipa Ben Hillel, A Month of Learning by Carol and Josh Sanborn, in memory of her father, Yoshua Shir Ben Moshe Yehuda Cohen, Ike and Evelyn Blachor, Hakarat HaTov, for his continuing recovery from recent surgery, Rabbi Dr. Yankee and Malki Honig, in memory of his mother, Rabbanit Hensha Ita Bat Chaim Yehuda, Henna and David Grunblatt, in memory of her mother, Roisa Bas Chaim, Jill and Perry Meltzer, in memory of her father, Yaakov Ben Yosef, B. Pizer, in memory of her stepfather, Avram Michal Ben Shmuel Halevi, B. Pizer, in memory of her mother, Razel Bat Shammai, Jerry and Sharon Glassman, in memory of his mother, Malka Yehuda Bat Eliyahu, Henry Katz and children, in memory of his wife, Lila Leah Minsha Bat Yehuda, Mel and Haran Haller, in memory of his mother, Fega Bat Yaakov, Andrea David Dolny, in memory of her mother on the 20th Yortzeit, Elul Sina Bat Shimshon. A Week of Learning by Andrew and Stephanie Becker, in memory of his sister, Yocheved Bat Zev. Evelyn and Isaac Blachor, in memory of her mother, Perel Rivka Bat Rav Menachem Mendel Eliezer. Dita Luxemburg, in memory of her mother, Martha Gidler, Sharna Bat Yeshaya. Baruch and Dina Rabinowitz, in memory of his father, Zeb Ben Chaim. Rena and Alan Mosek, in memory of her father, Meir Ben Yosef. Harriet Brick and Rabbi Moshe Cranley's sister, Deborah Dolny. Today we have learning by Mark and Calendar. It's Paul. And Hashem was having Aliyah, Crank, Rafia, Velti, Yeshua, Hashem, Atliah, and Chol B'nai Israel, a good Gebench. Just again, a reminder that your names, if you're going to be on Thursday to the Siyum, okay, to Heshi or to Mel, please also remember that Friday morning is when we start the new daf. Okay?
Ten lines from the bottom of Kuftes Basel the base. Yesterday, we basically said that you couldn't quickly give as a gift to the Kohen something that was going to be lost. So we said we should differentiate between wine and oil. So the question would be, what do you mean? Why is it? Huh? Omar. We said before, that if you had the 10 barrels and one of them was Tameh, so, and Omar Beis, yeah, 10 lines to the bottom. And he saw one of them is breaking or it's no good. So you can do it, but you can't do B'Shem and Lo Yasakim. With oil, you can't do why? Because you're causing too big a loss to the Kohen. Why? But they have to say Kohen, because the Kohen is going to lose money. So what is my Shama Sheva? the roy lahad. Like, understand what's wrong with you're gonna give a barrel that's leaking. What's wrong with oil? When you take away the roy lahad, says you could light it, even though you can't drink the oil, but you could light it. Yainami, also wine. Why is wine not considered a loss, even though you can't drink the wine? Right? You can use it to perfume the house. The Gemara says, and if you want to say ziluf la milsi, you think, look, like perfuming the house is not a valuable thing. It's not true. I'll show you. It's more valuable than drinking. Shmuel said, to drink wine, you pay. If you buy a log for a seller, pay the money. And to perfume with wine, you pay two sellers. You pay two sellers a log. So you see that not only is perfuming valuable, it's doubly valuable, more valuable than drinking. Says, no, we're talking about wine that's new. New wine doesn't have a good smell. I said, what do you mean? Right, so what? You can see that's a big deal. You leave it in the barrel, and you let it get old. It'll have a good smell. The answer is the answer is what the rabbis forbade it, because you're not allowed to keep this unclean. This Kohen can't keep this unclean produce that he's forbidden to eat. He can't keep it around. Why? Lest they'll come to drink it. Well, says if that's true, Shem and Nami, then what do you mean? So then why is what about oil? He says, okay, Nami the Aktibaleta. So then also oil. You also come to drink it if you leave it around. He says no. The malach lebitimos. No, by oil, it's not an issue. Why? Because oil. The guy he'll put it into a disgusting keli that he won't drink from it, so that's okay. So then he'll keep it around to burn. Also, it's in the wine that you can use for perfuming. Also put in the disgusting keli so you won't drink it. Mrs. Asha Zivka Boyle. If you need it for perfuming, he's not going to put it into a dirty keli. The whole point is to keep it nice and fresh. You're not going to do it. All right. Now we're going to discuss the idea that we granted. Idea that the Kohen can't keep around stuff that's tummy, why lest they'll come to drink it, that itself we see as a machlokas between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. But the kol atzma tanai, this idea though, keep around tummy produce for the Kohen for others, even though it's forbidden to drink, is a machlokas. The tiny we learn, if you have a barrel of truma wine that became tummy, Beis Shammai say, what? He shut the spell rolling out. Why? Because if you leave it around, permissible for other purposes, you'll drink it. But Beis Hillel says no. Teal says Zila says no. You can keep it around, use it for perfuming, and you won't it. We don't worry about it. Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yossi said the following. And he says, you know what? I will find a way of compromising a note of taking part. Everybody will agree, and it'll be fine. The bias there says if it became tummy in the house, where he can use it for perfuming, it's not, it's not around much. He'll use it for perfuming, but then it's more likely that it'll come to drink and like this. Test as use it for, but if it's new and you'll have to wait before you can do it, see, it sounds like he's still compromising. They said to him, there's such thing, you can't do what you just did. He says, why? When you have a third frame, you can't make them. Give it this the way the Rashi claims like this. If Beis Shammai Beis Hillel had said, for example, let's say respectfully, whether it's in the house or the field, okay, you can't leave it around. You can't keep it. And they said, whether it's in the house or the field, you can keep it. So then he come along and say, you know what? Here we'll go, in the house will go this way, and the field will go that way. Because why? Because he takes into account it's him plus them, so it's 2 against 1. So that's called the hachra. That a person that he can do. But when you take an idea that they didn't discuss, that's not you saying, well, I'll with him on this and with them on. You bring up a whole new point who said they agree with you at all. So the whole idea of hachra is what? If they already made the division, then you went with one on one side and one on the other side. Okay, because it's you and one, and it's you and one against the other one. But when you brought up the new point, there's no reason to say that you're with anybody. Okay, it doesn't work out. So, okay, now we said, now we're going to talk about, back to our Mishnah. We said that essentially, the guy said, when you have to save a person's property, you don't have to give up your own property. And my loss obviously comes before my friend's loss. I love you, but I also got to take care of myself. I got to take care of my own business. So I don't have to give away my stuff for you. Now, we said in the case where either the wine guy is going to save the oil guy, or we said, or the cheap donkey guy going to save the expensive donkey guy when they were both washed away by the river. So we had it. He said, listen. So he said, honey guy, wine guy and the honey guy. So now the same thing is, listen. If he just saved the other guy's stuff, he gets paid for his work or for his rental, but he doesn't get paid for his loss. We said. If he said, listen, he says, I'm gonna dump mine and save yours. So then he's saying essentially, I have to be dumping, and you have to pay me. And that's true both the case of the wine and the honey, and that's true in the case of one of the cheap donkey and the expensive donkey. It says, now in the Mishnah, he said, I'm going to give you the deal, and you'll give me my money for what I lose, etc. Then he has to give him the money. Where says, am I? Why is that? We have a principle. Whenever he can always say, I wasn't serious. I promise you something. I was under duress. I'll say it. I gotta say anything this thing. He says, yes, hey, well, I wasn't serious. He says, the name of lay. But listen, I was joking. I had to save my stuff. I'll say anything. So he said it when he agreed. He said, listen, I'll pay you for free wine, or I'll pay you for your donkey. Yeah, I want you to say my thing. Whatever you have to say my stuff, I want you to do it. Milo Tiny, didn't we learn such a thing that we see that a person say anything under duress and you don't make him obligated to pay it? Here, I was getting a no. His friend needs to say, why is my borrower slip up? There's a fair. He get across the river, get away from that. Yeah, he's escaping. And he said to him, oh, dealer, he says, listen, take this a lot. That's way too much for the ferry. He says, here, I'll give you a dealer. I'll give you $1,000. Get me out of here. He says, I'll be ready and give me a quote. Ain't well as far. No, the guy doesn't get paid. Doesn't pay the whole dealer. Only the normal fee. I'll marmalade wise, because he says, he says, listen, I was just teasing a joke. Saying anything. I didn't get out of here. I never thought they're going to pay you a real dinar. So you see that the guys are right to say under duress. I said, I'm just trying to get you to do your job. That's all you have to say to me. So also the same thing over here. Let him say Mashat anymore. Listen, I was just joking or saying anything. I needed you to save my honey. I needed you to get my donkey. So I said, yeah, I'll pay you. He said, okay. Gemara says, no. He says, Gemara says, not the same. Why? Hello, dummy. Our case is similar to that case of the ship, of the ferry boat. El Sefer, it's like what we learned later in the same source. That what? Bim Amarlo told Dina Zeber Schar Chababireni. If he said, listen, here's the dinar. It looks now he's giving you the money. Here's the dinar. Here's the money. Here's the money. Okay? And okay, this is Then they can't come back and say, oh, my money back. Okay. Sefer, what's the difference between if that here's the dinar, what's the difference between here's the dinar? What's the difference between where he doesn't have to pay him, and the second one that he does? Amar Rabbi Barchami says the answer is what? Because the second case was with Tzayed. This guy, ferry boat, was not some a ferry boat guy. He was a fisherman. A fisherman who was fishing, and he made money. But Amarle, what he says to him, Afsitani Kabri Mezuzah. In the time I'm going to have to ferry you, I'm going to lose a zoo's worth of what? A zoo's worth of fish. So he said to us, I'm going to pay for your fish. So that's the whole point. When he said that, so whenever he said, well, I'm going to pay you for your loss, then of course he has to pay. Only when he said, I'm going to pay for your loss. So here also, the guy said, he said, listen, I'm going to lose. He said, I'm going to lose my wine in order to save you. Pay me. Of course he has to pay him. He says, I'm going to lose my donkey to save yours. Of course he has to pay him. We said if the river was washing away his donkey, his 100 and his friend's 200 it's at 100, his friend is 200. So he said the same thing. He said if he saves his stomach gets up, he said I'm saving mine. I'm going to give mine to pay him. Now, why did you have to teach me the same principle twice? She's talking the same thing. Both. If he saved the stuff without saying anything, it's nothing. Okay, but if he said I'm going to lose, and I want you to pay me, then it's something. So why'd you have to teach me by the case of the wine and the honey, and again by the cheap donkey and the expensive donkey? The answer is you'll see that there's a big difference. Why? Because when the guy is the honey with his wine, he pours out his wine. When the guy saves the other, he just doesn't his own donkey. So one of them who's really he destroys his stuff actively. You might think that there's so you'll see it. You might think that there's difference. Yeah, there's why. But come out. You told me this where he's the wine. Also, the fee pay and the make it's only there. I'm going to dump my wine and you're gonna have to pay me for it. Why? And he asked the what you just go. If you don't get snow, you know you want this. Actually throws out his line, said this guy. I see the really cool. The other guy you pay, and all travel more group, and they all take care of it. Anything happened, lion was traveling with them, and the lion was actually protecting their animals from. So and quickly what he quickly reacquired his donkey. So you see what? The Shemaim helped him out them. And we don't say what that he has to pay, that he paid anyway, because that was the so he said him out of his way to reacquire it. He really abandoned it. Even though what you're right that he gave it up to the lion, adopted the afkare. Of course, if for the lion, he gave up his ownership. He wasn't simply saying, "I'm giving up ownership to my." Ended ownership to the lion was going to eat. He didn't say my donkey's afkare. So I have to go out of his way to reacquire. Say the other way. There's another petition of the same case. Instead of the guy said, "Listen, I'm going to let my donkey go, and I'm going to save your donkey for your lots of." And he let his donkey go, but he didn't succeed in saving the other guy's donkey. Mahu, what's the rule? Does he get paid for his donkey or not? He let his donkey go, and he didn't save the other. Didn't succeed. It didn't work. He said to him, he said, "That's a question." He said, "He says the answer is he only gets paid for his work, but you're right, he doesn't get paid for his donkey." Asked the contract, says, "What are you talking about? That's not true. I'm going to pay paid for his donkey." So Paul Damascus, if I hire a worker, I want to give a cure to somebody. So you hired a worker to bring cabbage and prunes. That you'll bring it to this guy, and I'll use it for a cure. When the worker brought the cabbage and the prunes to the sick person, and either they got there. You see the other way. You see that even when the goal wasn't accomplished, the guy gets all his money. They're going to say, "How can you tell me that this guy who went to save the guy's donkey doesn't get paid for his donkey?" He says, "No, making a big mistake." Or he says, "He dummy." The comparison between the two cases. Remember, the guy who was supposed to be in the cabbage and the prunes, his job wasn't to be a doctor. His job was to deliver the medicine. He did his job. You extra money, go deliver the medicine. He delivered the medicine. What? Because God killed the guy, or God let the guy, or cured the guy. What's that to do with me? I did my job. Over here, the whole reason he's giving the extra money was to save him. He was the doctor. It was his job to save the other guy's donkey. He didn't save the donkey. You get paid for your work. You're not going to get paid the extra money that I promised you to save my donkey. So that's it. In one case, the proxy did his job. The proxy didn't do his job. Now we have to remember. I discussed with you. There are rules. There are general agreements, and I tell you, there's certain places where we have power. Each city power to make decrees in the city. You decide here, so they all got to use the same stone. I never liked it. Believe me, I can't stand what they do over there. In Jerusalem. Yeah, I hate it. I hate what they do. Yeah, I know. You know. So you like it? God bless you. I'm not saying. I just personally, I never liked it. I'm the opposite way. I would have torn it all down. The whole wall, the outside, or torn down. It was built by our enemies. It's a disgusting character. It's not our wall. That's from Salah ad-Din. Anyway, I would have changed the whole city. I would never done any of that stuff. That's not my point. But the rule is a city has a right to make a rule. Everybody has to have white houses, they have to have pink houses, have a right to make rules. Yeah, they have right. They have rights to make easy rules. Everybody got to have a house like this. I think you got to have this lock. It's insane, but yeah, same door. It's legal. It's legal. There's such things like cities, like I told. For example, there are other ways to explain it, but that's one thing. So we have norms. We have some things that are norms, sometimes not norms. We have to investigate. So now we're talking once we're on the subject.
Where the norm differs in one place.
Yeah. That's another thing. That's another thing. But we have to see. So when we have mutual responsibility, what do we have to? What do we have to do? Tana Rabbanim. So you learn. You had a certain caravan. They're all there. Caravans are essentially a mutual protection society. That's what's going on. We're traveling together for mutual benefit. Now, marauders, they want to rob them, but they don't want to kill them. That's the important point. They do want to rob them, but they don't want to kill them. So now, we're going to have to pay them off. But how do we pay them off? How do you divide up the money? So there we do it according to each person's possessions, percentage-wise. Okay? There, everybody, according to how much property they're protecting, that's how much a percentage they have to pay to buy them off. Why? Because they're protecting their property. Okay? But because how for lives, you're right. Every person will pay the same. Every life is the same. But since they're protecting their property and not their lives, you do it according to the value of the property. Let's say they hired a guide. The guide has to save them from both things. Okay, and the guide has to protect them both from what? Both from murderers and from robbers. Then they have to make two cheshbonos. One, they have to do one for me, to do 1% for money, and one that they pay per hand in order to save their life. Some people okay, but they don't change whatever the custom was of the drivers of the Nidra. That's real custom. However they do it, money. Lives, however they do it. And the donkey drivers have a right to make rules. If any one of them loses a donkey, the group will provide another donkey. But if the guy lost his donkey from negligence, they don't reimburse him. But if he lost it from non-negligence, they give him another one. Now, what if he says, listen, he says, you know what? Don't give me the donkey, give me the money. Now, there's two possibilities. There's two ways to read it. One way is it says, listen, don't give me the donkey. I'll buy my own donkey, please. Now, give me the money. I'll buy my own donkey. I like to buy my own donkey. Or he says, listen, don't give me money. I don't want a donkey. I don't want my donkey. Just give me the money. Thank you very much. He wants to go to dinner instead. So now the question is, hey, show me, we don't listen. We want this guy to have a donkey. I don't care. I want you to have a donkey. Why? No, because why? Because since we want everybody to have risk, we want you to have a donkey. Yeah, you must have a donkey. I don't want it. You want to have a donkey, you're not going to take care of us. You're not going to worry about my donkey. I want you to be a donkey warrior. And I'm sorry, you must have a donkey. However, either one. You can't keep the money and not buy a donkey, or you can't even take the money to buy your own donkey. I want you to have a donkey now. I'm not waiting for you. I'm not waiting for you to get a donkey. I want you to have a donkey because it's our mutual interest that you have a donkey. Okay? First the Gemara said Pshita. Then he can't say it. The Gemara says, "Oh, Chicha, it's not Pshita. Why? Here's the Chiddush. Obviously, he can't be without a donkey. That's the whole point. The Gemara says, no. Here's the Chiddush. That even though he has a donkey, he has two donkeys. Yeah. So his mother might think, okay, he's got a donkey. He's got skin in the game. What's the problem? It's enough as long as he's got one donkey. Now you can let him not. Either you can let him not get on the donkey or let him worry about the donkey. It's okay. I'm here. There's no question. You're a better watcher when you have two donkeys. I want you to be really involved. I want you to be really worried. Okay, Tana Rabbanan, we learn if the ship again, they all had boats. It's a flotilla. Okay, they all got boats and they're sailing together. That's a big storm. The ship sink them. They keel them. Apartment. This is one ship, and they're all in the same boat. Sorry, they're all in the same boat with their merchandise. And a storm wants to sink them. They keel them. What do they do? So they have to what? They have to dump cargo off of the ship to make it. It's you're carrying gold, kilos. He's dumping gold. It doesn't matter. So you have to dump a kilo of gold, though he's dumping a kilo of feathers. However, He said, no, it's not so pashut. Because it could be one. If you notice that I learned it, if you learn it, I learned it. If you look at the language, it says the hikilu. So it says it in the past tense. You know, it's in the past tense. So in the past tense means what? If they already dumped the stuff, this guy dumped the gold. I feel like that either. He dumped gold, the other guy dumped feathers. He lost a lot of money. But why is it in the past tense? Because really, some people learn that even if it's before the fact, of course, the gold guy can say, "Listen, you don't be a kilo of gold. I got feathers. I'll pay you. Dump an extra kilo of feathers, please. I'll keep my gold." Yeah, so only the past tense. If you already dumped his gold, so you lost your money. It's a kilo for it's a kilo for a kilo. But before the fact, obviously, the guy can make it. Okay, so obviously there, but the point was the same dump weight as everybody else, which has nothing to do with money, just do with weight. So again, whatever the rule of the sailors usually is, you follow. Whatever the sailors, if the custom of the sailors is weight or money, whatever it is. But trying to survive in my head, the sailors also have a rule, they have a right to make a rule. If you have a flotilla, you have a bunch of ships. So they make a rule again. We're all mutual protection society. So if a guy lost a ship, they're going to replace it. Okay, maybe not. If he lost it by negligence, replace it. But if you lost it not by negligence, they replace it. We pay the mukum, but let's say he yells his boat, the place where boats are not supposed to go. Hey, medium, I'll give another boat. Obviously, you just told me a minute ago. You just told me that if he does by negligence, then we're not going to replace his boat. So obviously, he sailed where he's not supposed to sail. So obviously, we're going to replace his boat. So why are you telling me to replace it? Well, here's why. Here's what's usually going on. In Nisan, remember, the rivers are overflowing in Nisan because all the rain and the snow and everything. So therefore, what? So the water is deep, so you only have to stay. You stay only one rope length away from the shore. There's plenty of water. The water is high. There's no danger. There's no danger. Now you have to know. In the old days, if you see, even though I'm not a big fan of anthropology. I don't think it's a real scientific science. I don't like those guys too much. I think they're naughty. However, some of the things they say are true, and even by ourselves. But it's one of these civilizations develop along water. They're always, the whole Europe, you see what's still going, the Danube, all the rivers, yeah. But there's reasons why civilizations goes by water. One, because you have water, obviously. The second reason, in common, and another reason is because of safety. Yes, because they follow the water back. You see, and not only by the rivers, but actually by the ocean. So original, if you look at travel, exploration, nobody went away from the shore. The ships always used to they didn't sail away from the shore. The ships always kept the coastline in view. That's how they say that the coastline. Always keep the coastline in view. See the next thing go. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but the norm was that everybody was always hugging. That's around the coast of Africa. They was hugging the coastlines. When all the rivers, so the bend, so they when the rivers are swollen and because the water is shallow, the beginning of the shore. So they stay one rope's length away. Okay, that's in England time. Okay, but in summertime already, winter time, when the waters are a little machish, they have to stay two ropes lengths away because the water is too shallow next to the shore. Because of the Yom Nisan, so what this guy did was like this. It's a middle ground. Obviously, if he was out of the shore, we really need to stay far away. Okay, so he normal for the time. He made a mistake. Okay,
the wrong time. He's doing in
in the wrong time exactly. So he went in the where he should have been. Anyway, he did he closed what he shouldn't have. Far, yeah, the others, yeah. If you tell me what, he's still considered, even when he followed the normal pattern, he's still
He's still considered negligent. Exactly. Whatever I said, reverse it. We said, he says, if you had a caravan going through the desert, Walmart gives for Trofa, and what happened was, and again, marauders came and they stole everything. And they took their stuff. What happened was, one guy's a cowboy. So one guy comes back and he goes back and he reclaimed the stolen merchandise from the thieves. So what happened? What's the rule? So we said the halacha is that it belongs to everybody. Okay, what he saved, he didn't save for himself, but everybody comes back and identifies what was stolen from them, and they get their stuff back. Everybody gets their stuff back. But if he said, listen, I'm going out, but I'm going to go save the stuff myself, he saved it for himself. Now, the Gemara can't understand. It doesn't make any sense. Wait a second. You don't get just to decide what you want. Make up your mind. If these guys could save it, you don't get to say you're taking their stuff. What are you talking about? If they can't save it, then he doesn't have to say anything. In other words, if they can save it themselves, I don't care what he said, it's theirs. Who said it won't for him? And if they can't save it, even if he didn't say I'm taking it myself, it all belongs to him because the stuff's after. They lost it. They gave up hope. So it makes no sense. Either it all belongs without saying anything, okay, or even if he did something, nothing except for what's his belongs to him. The Gemara says, "Hey, tell me what's the case? If the other can save, I feel it." Have to become I'm not a slave. Become your partner. A partner don't want to be a partner. They don't want to be a partner. I'm out. I'm out. I'm not your partner. Okay, go and say, here's what happened. So they're all partners in all the merchandise, and all the merchandise got stolen. So now all of this stuff is stolen. So he said, but you have a rule of cholek. Okay, shlo das chaberu. Any partner dissolves his part of the partnership without the other guy's permission. He says, I'm out. The second he says, I'm out. I'm out. So here's what happened. So now, when his stuff all got stolen, so some of his stuff is there, and their stuff is there. They're all. He says, listen. So long as he didn't say anything, everything he said belonged to everybody because they're still partners. He doesn't own it by himself; he owns it with them. But if he said, I'm going to save myself, he's saying, listen, now I'm going out. So whatever he says, obviously, only up to his percentage. Whatever he says up to his percentage belongs to him. If he says more than his percentage, of course, it's still going to go back to the partnership. That he's not going to get. He just has the right to say, listen, if anything I saved up to my own ownership belongs to me because I dropped out of the partnership. He's not an idiot. He's not going to go life for you guys. Rav Amar, let's explain the process another way. I can say it's where nobody can say it. It's impossible to say. Okay, because before you can say it, every partner has right to quit his job even at noon. You hired the guy for 5, he can quit. Yeah, he's not a partner, not a worker. I'm not a worker, a hired worker. So working for the owner now, but the only thing you have to don't make a mistake. I told you what the guy has the right to quit. Don't think that he's never, so to speak, to the boss. So long as he hasn't quit, he's the boss's guy. Okay, no, the fact that a guy can quit doesn't mean he was never the boss's guy. I want to explain what the Gemara is saying in a second. No, he is the boss's guy until he quits, and that's why he says when he quits, it's not that he can quit because he never was the guy's guy. No, really, he is the boss's guy, and anything he does is for the boss. It's for anything he does. When he actually quits, is a whole other reason. The reason when he quits, was not because he was never working for the boss, but rather what to see, because the pasuk says Israel says because the he's saying, listen, and now if I was working for you, I'd be out collecting your stuff, saving it. Then I says, you know what? Thank you very much. I quit the job today, and I'm going to go out and get the stuff myself. But they can't. Rav Ashi says, here's another case. Also, there was, you can go back to the original case. No, it's not a case of worker. Okay, what's really happening is what? It's rather just any guy who's a member of the caravan. So we had to listen. your mind. If they save it, doesn't matter what belongs to them. And if they can't, no matter what he says, it belongs to him. The guy says, no, because here's what's happening. It's not a case where they can save it or they can't save it. They can, but so they didn't save anything. Since they really didn't give up hope, they could save it in hard pressed circumstances. So then it really belongs to everybody. He really just saved everybody else's stuff. Each person gets back their property. Yeah.
One question was you said you can quit noon. It's hard for the day. Wouldn't he be
Yeah, he doesn't want to, he's not a slave. I said, listen, sorry, I'm out of here. He's out of here. Stay tuned. This is all coming up. Stay tuned. This is coming up. Just don't stay from the.
If he's a poel, he can when he.
Stay tuned. Next, stay tuned. Next position.
The poel he can walk out whenever he wants.
Yeah. We have to, but here's the problem. But there's problems of damages. He's right. There are many problems. All right, Rabbi, have a wonderful day. Go.
And you have to pay it for his half day.
Yeah.
Accomplish.
Yeah. Hey.
When my wife engaged the lady who cleaned the house,
Yeah.
she said to her, "You're takes the service."
With a sister-in-law.
We used to have, before COVID, we had a team of 3 men. The whole place was sparkling and 45 minutes. But then they quit because of COVID. So we hired someone who we would wear a mask, she would wear a mask. The Brazilian girls were gorgeous, and then they were dressed very immodestly. So I had to leave the house the minute they arrived.
work at takes a couple of those.
Yeah, that's it.
You can't quit.
It's all coming up. It's all coming up. But that's it.
You told him. He handed it with girls wanting to walk out.
I was looked at it. It just disappeared, that's all. They didn't bother saying you
They didn't bother telling him.
I don't.
I was 17 years old. I worked on a farm. Yeah, it is. So if you pick fruits, you could choose your deal. You could work as a hired worker, but you get paid by the hour, or you could be a cobbler, and you get paid by the container, by filling containers. So most people work hourly to get a guaranteed salary. There was one guy, the guy was a deaf mute. His name was Sussman. I used to work with the guy. The guy was a deaf mute. And he worked as a cobbler. And first of all, he made more money than everybody. He filled up incredible amounts of containers. Well, this guy, the guy who never stopped talking. The guy was a deaf mute, and he never stopped talking. He shrieked. He shrieked. He shrieked and used his hands. He talked with me philosophy, religion. He tried to get